So, please, welcome your host, your MC, the man of the time, the man of our time, Mr. Mark Sweetman.
All right, you could that's a 30-second musical intro. You could let that play a little bit, and then.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do a rehearsal sometime.
That would be. I'll do it in William Shatner approach. Now, I know it's time for the off night.
That's very good. You do. Did you see the Maurice LaMarche video?
No. What was that?
I showed one. I showed somebody. I think it was somebody from this group that I showed the Maurice LaMarche video of how to do William Shatner.
Oh yeah, you did. I did see that. Yeah,
he gives the 3 steps. Take inappropriate pauses.
Take appropriate pauses. Yes.
Yeah,
and freeze.
Yeah. Make sure that every there's at least one syllable in your sentence that has the missed accent on that word. Only one in a sentence, so that the long dramatic pause, and then after the pause, you speak the sentence as fast as you can
and proceed. Yes, it's that Shakespearean training,
So anyway, how was your week?
Weekend went good. I could swear I was doing Trump last night. I didn't realize I was doing. Maybe I was just doing.
Did you record it? I wish it was recorded because to explain to Jason and Sam were not there last night.
No,
they're both listening in. He did a Trump impression that sounded like he was doing Carl, the groundskeeper from Caddyshack.
Groundskeeper, yes.
Wow.
So I did not realize I was doing Bill Murray doing.
He was doing Trump doing Bill Murray doing Carl the greenskeeper doing Donald Trump. It was.
But maybe Donald Trump is actually doing the woodchuck from Caddyshack. I mean that.
Well, when he's dancing,
I don't know. I don't really know. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry.
No, that's not the
woodchuck. No, I don't know.
That's Donald giving himself wood. Is what that is.
Flossing.
Yeah, flossing.
He's flossing himself. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't realize I was doing that Carl, but I've been doing Carl forever. So
that's just what it sounded like. All right, you ready? You're ready to bring out our buds? Have you got any news for me?
Any news? Actually, I got something that's kind of interesting for you. In July, there's this. They have this Hemingway contest in Florida, and it's very famous. Been going on for like the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's at Sloppy Joe's, and so I thought I'd try and enter. I didn't realize. I thought it'd be a big. All you need is $50. Okay. So I'm going to go down and do the Hemingway contest in the.
Is it down in Key West?
The one in Key West, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, you should do it.
Yeah, so it's like middle of July, so it's like I'll be the only one that dies of heat exhaustion getting on there. So I don't know.
You've talked about doing it, Mark.
I have talked about it. People have suggested that I do it. That I do it sometime. Go down there.
Well, and maybe there's still a slot. I signed up about a couple of weeks ago. There's only $50.
Well, what you need to do, really where you should go is not to Key West. You should find places that are just the opposite. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, that have like Caribbean-themed bars and go there and play
Hemingway.
Ernest Hemingway. Exactly. You're just there. Have an old Underwood typewriter,
Yeah. I'm looking at different photos of Hemingway. I'm trying to find one that incorporates I don't have to cut my Santa beard, So I found
there's some photos of him where his beard got a little long,
Yeah, so I'm looking.
And you're doing it in July, right? Years grow so fast. You'd have it back by November when you need it for Santa.
Yes, it's maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what my choice is.
All right, let me know.
Let
me know what we'll want to have a report from Key West for our show.
No problem.
All right. Well, having said that, thanks. See, there is news. There's always news. If I get it out of you, if I interview you long enough, I'll get the news out of you. But it's now time for our favorite poetess. And here she is with the news of the week in rhyme.
Since Mark has us sitting in the dark, I have my light. In Mexico, an historic election for president is done. A woman was elected. Claudia Sheinbaum is the number one. Fire on Russia. Green light was given to Ukraine. Russia doesn't like it. Threatening the U.S. is insane. India held an election. Nothing official on prime minister. Modi claims he won. Without results, this sounds sinister. Hunter Biden's gun trial started. Guilty, he's not admitting. Meanwhile, Trump was found guilty. All 34 counts are fitting. How many titles can one gymnast hold? 9 all-around titles. She's amazing. She's gold. Simone Biles won the U.S. Gymnastics Championship. The Paris Olympics should be her next trip. And that's your poem of the week.
News of the week in rhyme. Thank you very much, Susan.
All right, Susan.
I didn't mean to take us out completely there. I was just trying to bring us both up. All right, let's bring everybody else out here from New York City. The man with the plan, King of Manhattan. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Famous comedian and bon vivant. Here he is, Sam Greenfield.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
I love when I introduce him as man of the hour and he comes in with that effeminate hi.
Bonjour.
Also coming to us from Ypsilanti, Michigan, the one and only. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Jason Grant.
Happy to get off my deathbed to be with you guys.
Deathbed? Are you been sick?
Oh boy, it's either a really bad summer cold or full-blown AIDS. I don't know which.
Wow.
I always thought there was
Yeah.
a certain pun to full-blown AIDS.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What was your summer cold like?
See, a tad redundant, if you will. Yeah, basically a chest full of how you know what I mean. I don't want to be grotesque about the whole thing. You know what I mean. Just phlegm, mucus, whatever, run down. I feel like I'm, like a been used like a urinal at an ICP concert. I mean, it's not
Nice. Nice.
Well, like
Nice.
Sam says, I like to bring the pretty. I'm all about the pretty.
You should make an album with what you do called "Bring the Pretty."
Bring the pretty. That's what we're here to do.
We should just have a Facebook page or a web page just for people to contribute Jason Grant album titles.
Yeah. Oh, there'd be many along with jail sentences and restraining orders. But I'd like to say, for the most part, most of it didn't hold up in court, so I guess it's okay. I mean,
there's that.
I know what 500 feet from a school looks like, and I think that's enough. I don't need to have the little box on my ankle shocking me whenever I get close. That's a little too much.
I remember when you first started joining our show, you were always at the top of that parking deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my roommate would have the TV up so loud. He's deaf, and he would play the TV so loud that Helen Keller could hear it from beyond the grave. And he just couldn't understand that, down the hallway behind a steel door, it still was just as loud as if it were in my room with me. Sadly, and again, just to show you how good corporate America is to its consumers, because my phone is now 18 months old, it's now just doing all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah, that's what they do.
If you
because
I checked.
What did they call it in the auto industry? Planned obsolescence.
Planned obsolescence.
My battery is now down to 88% useful, so that means that they have to pretty much bend me over and pluke me with an ungreased corporate fist, which I got to admit I kind of like it, but I'm not going to admit it publicly. So
how much is a new battery?
About $88, just like the percentage. Yeah, $88-$90.
That's an Apple phone, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
See, I've had I'm probably jinxing a no hitter, but never had a problem with the
Androids.
Not one problem. The only problem I had was when I was trying to do a TikTok, and I'm up to 12,000 followers now.
Wow.
I was going to
Wow.
ask how you're
Yeah.
doing.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're so, you know what? You're so popular. Last week, earlier this year, Joe Biden, I think it was March, Joe Biden joined TikTok. And then last week, Donald Trump did. So, I mean, I think they're getting the Sam Greenfield bump. Those two guys.
Absolutely.
They're trending.
They're trending
They're
on
riding
the
your
Greenfield
coattails,
bump.
dude. You should get a royalty. You should definitely be getting a check.
I heard that Trump said, wait, I don't get paid?
Didn't he rip off enough people with his True Social Trump
Well,
media?
I
thing
think
is,
the worst thing he did was Trump University.
Oh,
just-
you see, now that's a
But
lawsuit
the people
that he settled very quickly.
people who pay tuition, one of them should have said, and this could have been anybody like him. It didn't have to be him.
Right.
Does he have a degree?
Yeah.
Is there a reason that he is starting a college? What background? And that not just him, but any guy like that. What background does he have?
He didn't get a degree.
He says he got a degree.
He was
but,
at
He was at
Penn. He was at Penn.
Didn't he
Penn.
go
He
to work?
started at Fordham, and he wound up at Penn because he wanted the degree to be from Penn.
He wanted an Ivy League degree, probably.
Right. He's not the only person who's done that, by the way.
Yeah. What?
Start
Fordham?
one school.
Fordham.
and they
Is
wind up
Fordham,
at
to, is
a
Fordham to
school.
Penn a path?
Huh?
Is Fordham to Penn a path?
Sad. Well, years ago, Kansas City was like the farm team for the Yankees.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's when Don Larson finished his stay at New York, he got shipped off to Kansas City. And when I was a kid, you had these yearbooks of different teams.
Right.
And a friend of mine called me and said, I'm begging you, get the yearbook for the Athletics. And they were the Kansas City A's at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, why? He said, just do it.
Yeah, but
So
they were. But
I-
when it was the A's, that was a major league team in Kansas City. It
No,
wasn't.
yeah, but they were still their farm team because everybody from the Yankees got shipped there, and then the Yankees would get great players in return. No, they were a major league team, but they might as well not have been. Anyway,
Now,
so
Connie Mack had retired before they moved to Kansas City, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
oh yeah. Connie Mack's the only manager to wear a suit.
Well, because he started in the 1800s and didn't finish until 1950 something.
No, this was after that. Anyway, so there's a picture in it of Don Larson, okay, who 3 years before this had pitched a perfect game.
I remember.
And
Yep.
I'll try to do this for you. Look at my face. This is Don Larson's photo as a Kansas City A. Like the hell is this shit? Oh God!
That's Spencer Torkelson as a Toledo Mudhead now. Right?
By the way, I have a question for you guys.
All right.
Barbara and I a couple months ago went to see a band called Royal Sham.
Ah.
Based on Royal Scam.
Yeah.
From Steely Dan.
Okay.
Well, and they were great. They were terrific. Well, they're performing again, and Barbara wants to go, and I said okay. But then I found out, and this is where I need your feedback. It's an outdoor concert, and I'm not a fan of outdoor concerts because people are less inhibited with their behavior at outdoor concerts. Barbara's retort to that was the average age of the people at these concerts for Royal Sham is 40, 50, 60. I said, doesn't stop them from being loud drunks.
Having been to a Elton John concert recently, I got to side with Team Barbara on this one.
You might want to consider taking before you go to the concert. Take some tranquilizers and mushrooms.
I could record another answer for you.
We have one of the best outdoor theaters. I know.
What about the Aretha Franklin Theater? That's an outdoor theater.
And it's on the water. The concert's on the water.
That's where the Aretha Franklin Theater here is in Detroit. Which park is yours in?
This one, it's something in Brooklyn. I don't know which one, but
Brooklyn on the river or on the ocean?
Brooklyn on the river. So my thought was, well, if it really gets bad, I could just kill myself and jump in the water.
I kind of agree with you, Sam. It's not because of the concerts. The fact that there's so many walkers in front of the bathroom, it's going to be a hard.
There you go.
If only it wasn't true.
I like, you know what? I like these bands that maybe only have one or two original members, really, because they're all dying off, and they play in smaller theaters, and people sit and watch the show like they're watching a show. They don't get I don't have to see somebody throwing her panties up on the stage or something like that.
I think it would be depends.
Depends.
That's right. Throwing their diapers up there. There you go.
Right, that's right.
And by the way, I always had this image talking about old bands. Please welcome Crosby, Stills. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. There we go.
Hold on.
Now, two of the Eagles have passed away.
Yeah, and how they can
Glenn Fry and Randy Meisner.
Yep.
Yeah, and how you can tour the Eagles that way, I do not know. I mean,
Don Henley was lead singer in most of their songs. I mean, Glenn Fry was second, but still.
I know.
No, in fact,
they got Joe. They added Joe Walsh in like 1979, and so
very early.
Yeah.
They got rid of what's his name?
Randy Meisner.
No.
Oh, I know. Bernie
Ledden.
Bernie Ledden.
Oh.
Because he wanted to do more country rock.
Yeah, he was the banjo. He was the banjo player. Remember the early
right?
The banjo.
Yeah.
And the reason he got kicked out of the band, and he said he always felt bad about this. He doesn't regret doing it. Was that Glenn Fry came into the dressing room and he was all hopped up on some good ideas, and he wanted to do this with the band and this with the band, and Bernie Ledden poured a drink right over his head. No reason,
that's kind of
just
a
being a
problem.
dick.
Bernie Ledden is the one that dated Patty Davis.
Yes.
Yeah.
He also went bald fastest.
Well,
I don't think that's a contest.
yeah, they don't give a Grammy for that.
That could be
Which one of the guys were in the Stone Ponies? Remember, because they started out working
You
for
and
Linda
I
Ronstadt.
march to the beat of a different drum.
A great Mike Nesmith song. Mike Nesmith wrote that, and that is a fantastic song. And he proposed the Monkees do it, and Don Kirshner said, "No, kid, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Shut
Hi,
up."
I'm Don Kirshner. You may call me
Yeah.
Mr. Excitement.
Yeah,
Member
that's
of
him.
the Pony.
But the Stone Ponies were, I think, Glenn Fry and
Don Henley.
Don Henley.
Linda Ronstadt. You ready? Here's the
go for it.
Linda Ronstadt, Bobby Kimmel, rhythm guitar and vocals, Kenny Edwards, lead guitar and vocals, and I don't see any other. Let me see here. What else? They were a Los Angeles band, played the Troubadour, signed with Capitol Records in '67. Just those three, and they give here it is. Past members. Here's what you want to hear.
Okay.
Linda Ronstadt, Bobby Kimmel, Kenny Edwards, Shep Cook, Kit Alderson, John Portia, John Ware, John Kesky.
You could just reduce this to no one we know.
Herb Steiner.
Yes.
Herb Steiner. That must have been the manager. Herb Steiner.
There you go.
No question. No question.
Herb
Steiner.
And Bill Martin.
You know,
Really, I
one of the
thought
nice
Eagles
things
too.
I
about
didn't realize Billy Martin coached over there. Anyway.
Yeah.
one of the nice things about Linda Ronstadt.
It was that or managed the Kansas City A's. So
There we go. I got you.
When Don Henley and Glenn Fry went to Linda Ronstadt and said, "Listen, we'd like to break off on our own now and start a band," she was nothing but supportive. She said, "Absolutely go." And a lot of people would say, "Screw you, you've got a contract." She said, "Go for it."
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't have done that.
You know,
she was probably thinking. She was probably thinking, if they get one hit, I'm going to be paying through the nose if these fuckers stay with me.
Yeah, I say, it all depends on how you're publishing, because there's 4 different segments of music publishing when you write the songs. And
you know what happened with Madonna and what's her name, Janet Jackson. You would come to them with a song you wrote,
right?
And they say, "I want half of the proceeds."
Yeah,
or you don't, or I don't sing the song, and it was worth it. It was worth it because there's so much money to be made if their name was on the song.
Sure.
Well, you're
people
gonna make
agreed.
money.
You
Yeah,
know,
you
like
make
a
money.
prayer as an example.
Yeah,
She didn't
but
write
get
that.
half of like a prayer instead of, you give it to somebody,
All of nothing.
get nothing. Exactly. Give it to,
Yeah, but Elvis
give
Presley,
it to Maureen McGovern. And,
Elvis Presley wanted it all and to buy all the rights out.
Yeah, but that's
why
he had
Dolly
the
Parton
Colonel.
wouldn't sell her song to him to do that.
Right. Well, the Colonel was making.
The Colonel was taking most of Elvis's money.
Was taking like 40%. I mean, it was an absurd.
The Colonel was an illegal alien, as it turns out.
Yes.
Oh, really? From what planet?
Netherlands. He was
Holland.
He was from Holland.
Holland.
Oh,
He was in
dear.
a
Businessman from Holland.
And then we found out he was from Holland, Dozier, Holland.
That might have worked out. I mean,
smart enough to wear a cowboy hat every time he came in,
Excuse me, Mr. Presley.
Yes, I want to tell you about my cowboy days. Okay.
You know something else about him I found interesting, not fascinating, but he liked to drink coffee scalding hot. Like so hot that other people go, oh, this is too much. That's how he liked to drink his coffee. I told you it wasn't that interesting. No one believed me.
Mark drinks it like that.
It's kind of like me.
Well, I'm a coffee drinker, so I can understand it.
I used to be a coffee drinker, but about 3 months ago, I had 4 cups of coffee, and then I had, what's that word? The shits.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And so I had to go to decaf.
Yeah, Mike.
They haven't stopped yet.
No, as I sit here, in fact.
I don't know who it wasn't on. I don't think it was on your page, but I don't know if your daughter or your wife. That picture of you and Cassie and Barbara. That was a great picture. I saw.
Yeah, that's for what the hell was that for? No, we just went out to brunch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you look very young in that picture. That goatee.
Gabe Abelson saw the picture and said, "You look remarkably young," and I went, "I am."
Yeah.
I am. Don't let the gray hair and the wrinkles fool you. And as I wrote that, Cassie walked by and went, "You disgust me." And I said, "Why?" and I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you're 76 and you have no facial lines."
You keep a picture of Dorian Gray in your attic.
In your attic, yeah.
I said, "Well, I don't have any facial lines. My father didn't either." She said, "That's no excuse." I said, "What do you give a shit? You're not, we're not, there's no genetics here."
My dad has had choppers, false teeth, dentures since he was like 34 years old.
Oh, wow.
And somebody said to him one time, I would be with him in the store. He owned furniture stores. And I'd be with him. Somebody says, "You got great teeth." I go, He says, "I don't have great teeth." "Oh, no," they insisted, "You have great teeth." And so he goes, "Oh, you mean these?"
Let me ask you a question, if anybody knows. What percentage of people have a full set of choppers, let's say by the time they're 60?
I wouldn't say anybody.
I don't know. My grandfather did by the time.
But most people don't.
Before he was 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father lost all his by the time he was 45.
Yeah. I think it's a very genetic thing,
And nowadays people are getting implants, so that's.
Well, implants are the salvation.
Yeah, they're changing the whole game there, so. When the aliens come and exhume my skeleton, not much will be left, but the teeth. They'll be like, "Wow, look at that."
Don't take this personally.
No. It's when Charlton Heston finds you in the cave and says, "This guy had not dentures but implants." Okay.
God damn you!
Damn you!
Damn you all!
Get your hands off me, you damn denture!
Damn me!
I'd kiss you, but you're so damn ugly.
Oh yeah, there you go. What's he going to find? His destiny.
You know what movie I find myself watching, and it fascinates me now, and I've watched it before, of course. Best Years of Our Lives.
Oh yeah,
great movie.
Oh man,
when he's in the airplane having the flashback.
That's a wonderful moment.
Heartrending.
Yeah, and then Frederick March just added so much to that whole thing. He's a drunk. Yeah. Yeah, he was a drunk, but he was also
but it was tolerated back then. It's like, oh dear, please don't drink that much. It wasn't like, you're an alkie, you should get help. There was no such thing.
Yeah.
Well,
His
yeah, you
character
could
was great.
also, do as you liked, and as long as you kept it in the home, well, certainly no one was going to call the police. That's for sure.
And also, he was a bank vice president, so it wasn't like his life was going to ruin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the free services too. Wow.
And one of the interesting things about that movie is Dana Andrews was a captain, and when he got into public civilian life, he didn't have two nickels to rub together. Frederick March was a sergeant.
Yeah.
And he was a vice president of a bank.
Yeah.
And by the way, that was Harold Russell's first movie ever.
Wow.
Is that what, 1948?
1946.
46. And he was from Canada. But then he became a U.S. citizen, and then this is fairly well known. About 30 years ago, he called the Academy and said, "I'd like to sell my Oscar. I'd like to put it up for auction. Is that okay?" And normally they tell you no. Normally they say, if you want to sell it, you can sell it back to us for $10. But with him, they said, "Yeah, go ahead." And by the way, who's going to lift it for you? Huh?
Could I sell my Oscar?
Yeah.
You know what would have been great, because I have a macabre sense of humor, when he tells his girlfriend, take off my shirt and everything, if she'd gone, Jesus, she's fucking, get that shit out. Oh my God, you're gross.
Oh my God, what did they do to you?
What what was it? World War I is when we began to develop cosmetic surgery, or what we'd call plastic surgery, because so many men were coming back so horribly disfigured.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened. It always has happened in war, but World War I, it really reached a sort of a whole new pitch.
Well, that's
and
when you think about it, in the Civil War, which was their big war just before that,
right?
The big weapon was the cannon.
Yes.
By the time we got to World War I, the
machine gun.
Yeah, the machine gun, and they're dropping bombs from dirigibles.
Yes, and the landmine and
the landmine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're losing limbs and all kinds of stuff. It's.
And this is for all you guys. This is a happy comedy show now. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And then they're coming back half shot up from the death camps, and that's it. Now, but one of the men that my grandmother married, she married several men, not all at the same time. She would do it serially. She wasn't, Mormon or anything, but he'd been injured badly at the end of World War II. And her previous husband, the man who was my grandfather, was completely annihilated on the very last day of the Battle of the Bulge. His lighter came back, which, given that he was in a Sherman tank, also known as Sherman's lighters, is interesting to say the least. He has a headstone here in the United States, but nothing came home. He was obliterated.
Wow.
I mean, at the last day of the Battle of the Bulge, he was 23 years old and a sergeant.
Wow.
And that's, I never got to, and then of course she married another World War II vet, because everyone had been in the war, right? And he ended up dying shortly before I was born, because he had been injured. He had shrapnel in his heart, and they just simply couldn't get it out. It weakened his heart. He smoked like a chimney, put the two together, and he's died relatively young.
Well, that's another thing about Best Years of Our Lives. Everybody smoked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
in 1946,
everybody had a lighter. Everybody had
in 1946, I'm surprised they didn't turn to the camera and look at it go and talk about which brand they're smoking.
This is
little product.
When Desi Arnaz, we talked about this before. Desi Arnaz, he was the first person to be a spokesperson for a product who was in the movie, who was in the show.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was for a cigarette.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Moth radio program. They're doing stories,
Yeah.
So this one guy who was reflecting on when he was flying with the B-17s.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They were talking about stuff like this. It's like we're all there flying B-17s, and like we'd have the colonel would come in, and he was going to give us the thing. We're going for D-Day. He was talking about D-Day was happening, and so he's coming in. He's going to give us, the lieutenant colonel is going to go up there, and he was all of 25, but we called him the old man.
Yeah.
Well, in the movie Caine Mutiny, one of the things that people who served at that time thought was funny was that Humphrey Bogart played a guy in his 50s, and most of the guys who ran, minesweepers, who were the captains, they were 27, 28 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
They were. Oh, by the way, I always thought it was, interesting. Well, I thought it was interesting that, I had a friend whose father was Eisenhower's Jeep driver for D-Day.
Yeah.
And he had a great subtle sense of humor, Mr. Sakin. And I said, let me ask you a question. Did I talk to you a lot? And he looked at me and he goes, Sam, D-Day was being planned. I wasn't really a part of that conversation. It wasn't like, so should we invade in Normandy or a little further up? Eric, what do you think?
I wasn't involved in the decision making.
Eric, get your head out of the hood and let us know.
All right. Now it's time to play Take Susan's Poem. Everyone does one line.
Say again.
We're going to take Susan's poem, and I'm going to do around the table. Everybody gets their dig into each of these stories.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Ready? All right.
Okay.
Mexican's President Claudia Sheinbaum. Andy.
Mexico's President Claude Sheinbaum.
Claudia
Sheinbaum.
Mexico's first female and first Jewish president.
Oh wow. Probably the first time the Mexicans will be able to not have to worry about the food they eat. I don't know,
And, because Grandma's going to make sure everybody gets fed. Grandma will make sure
Yeah.
She's old enough to be a grandmother. I don't know if she is. Jason.
Oh, yeah.
She's 60.
Yes,
She's 60.
Yes,
Well,
60.
That's
We'll
grandma.
call her the old woman. Okay, it's like
What's the
sir.
Yiddish name for grandma?
Bubby.
Bubby or
President
Bubby?
Bubby. All right, Jason.
well, how would you say that in Mexican?
El Bubby.
El Bubby.
No.
El Bubby. Don't call for me, El
Los
Bubby.
Abuela.
guys,
You'll have your
my turn. The
tacos.
pressure's
You'll
on
have
me.
your
Stop
tacos.
this.
No, it's
Don't
Jason's
ask for
turn now.
burritos. I will not give you.
Jason,
Don't ask for burritos.
It's Jason's turn, Andy.
Sorry.
All right,
Stop it here.
All right, Jason.
All right,
Give us
ahead.
your hit.
It takes me a while to get going, okay?
Yes, it does. Go ahead. What is it, Mark?
The election.
Claudia
Sheinbaum, first Jewish and first woman president in Mexico. Give us a hit.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
You're giving it to me?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fucking Jews. They're everywhere. I mean, gold in my ear shines, smiles from beyond the grave, Actually, it's actually, I think, maybe a good thing. I mean, are we supposed to give a serious answer?
You do whatever you do. Whatever. We're just doing around the horn with the.
I mean, because it's not fair to me because I've been lying on a bed expectorating and looking like a Linda Blair stunt double.
All right. Well, let's
the last few days.
Let's go to the guy who had explosive diarrhea after having caffeine.
Exactly.
That's right. So Mexican explosive Montezuma's revenge.
Miguel, when I left this bodega, it was spotless.
All right, he gets the point. Sam wins.
All right, Sam gets a point on that round.
Sam,
okay, all right.
Sam, he took that one.
All right. Biden administration is now going to allow their weapons to be used not just for defense in Ukraine, but to be able to fire them into Russia now. Andy.
Well, I predicted it. If the Lions are going to the Super Bowl, it's the end of the world. Okay. So it's World War III. It just depends which one happens first. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, please let the Lions go to the Super Bowl before this. before we blow ourselves up.
Exactly. There we go.
Jason.
Should we tell President Biden that the missiles are incoming, or is he still showering with his daughter?
What?
Yeah, I know you guys aren't going to be happy with that one. I know.
Who are we who's showering with your daughter?
You never heard that story? It was big last week.
No, I don't listen to. I don't read bullshit monthly. So I thought the guy who said his daughter had a nice ass was Trump.
Y'all can dish it. You can get a little back without getting butthurt. Come on now. I take it all the time with and without love, or a little peck on the back. Hey, look,
it's always said with love, Jason.
Yeah, it always is. Hey, look, in all seriousness, we're fucking around. We are going to find out. And I've been screaming about this for a while. Yes, I'm your freaking right-wing Republican who's screaming, stop this crazy shit before it goes too damn far. We're about to go too damn far. Russians may not win wars, but they don't lose. And they won't lose.
Here's mine. One. Gee, I hope nothing lands on Tucker.
Sam, 2-0. My God,
yeah.
Dude.
Well,
dude,
he's safe with his lips firmly planted on Putin. So,
something, I don't get that. I get that a lot of people on the not a lot, but a certain number of people on the right are into Russia. But he's all in. I don't get it.
I
know he got fired from Fox, but he's all in.
We've talked about this before, Sam. I always say the number is 30,000. 30,000 is the number of African descendants that are Russian citizens. I think that has everything to do with the rights.
You mean
of Russia. They think that Russia is so white that makes them so great. They don't have
bullshit.
They don't have any immigrants, and they don't.
No.
If that was true, then they would love Sweden.
They
Russia,
do.
At the beginning
Why
of
can't
World
we
War
get?
II,
That's what Trump said. Why do we take immigrants from these
shithole countries?
Shithole countries. Why can't we get people to come in from Norway and Sweden? That's what he said.
Gentlemen, Russia at the beginning of World War II, 1939, had 220 million people. It is estimated. They now have about 125 million. Their population is quite literally dying.
Isn't that because it was the USSR, but now it's just Russia?
Not necessarily. No, it's still 12 time zones wide. It's still the largest landmass on the planet. It wasn't simply because they shed a few of the Kazakhstan.
Bigger than Rosie O'Donnell?
Come on, Sam. Let's not put. I mean, right? No, but in all seriousness, its GDP is less than Italy
than
or
Texas.
Britain. Yeah, and it sits on some of the largest natural resources in the world. I honestly
it's
believe
a treasure trove of resources,
which the Chinese want, and the Chinese want rather badly, and they're more than willing to wait and let this country exhaust itself.
Well,
and the never-ending war is a good way to do that. And it's sad.
We call them Russians in Eastern Russia, but that's all the Orient out there.
Yeah,
all those Asians in Eastern Russia.
Well, I mean,
the Mongolians and north of all those people look more Asian than they do European. That's for sure.
Exactly.
They're only Russia because they're only Russian. They're not ethnic Russians. They're only Russian because they're in the.
One of the things I always admired about Asians, and by I don't mean India, but I mean Chinese, is their patience.
Yeah.
What you said, Jason, about they'll just wait it out.
Yep.
Yes.
They'll just wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got plenty of our money to wait with it.
Yes, they do.
They got a lot of our money. They can wait. They can wait 3 more centuries.
Yes, they can. The Chinese expression is the wise man sits on the mountain and watches the tigers fight, and that is exactly what's going on. And then the thing is also we've wiped out a generation of Ukrainians, and the Russians and the Ukrainians have been at each other's throats for 1,000 years. That they're going to have to find a way to live with one another, because you can't just saw off the landmass and have it float away.
When you say watching tigers fight, you don't mean Norm Cash going at it with Bill Freehand.
Yeah.
No. It would be more likely Norm Cash going at it with Billy Martin. There used to be some knockdown dragouts when Billy Martin was our man.
Wasn't that great back at the Lindell AC? And those two guys would just absolutely destroy each other.
especially when Billy Martin was here, when Alex Karras was still playing, and baseball and football seasons would merge, and the Lindell XC was the place to be, man. Alex Karras and Billy Martin at the Lindell.
In the back room, gambling and all kinds of.
You know the story about Alex Karras and his brother Ted?
I didn't know he had a brother.
Ted played for the Bears, and Alex played for the Lions.
And Ted was an offensive player, right? So
right. And so there was a guy playing who filled in for Ted, and he was sucker punching Alex Karras.
That's a bad idea.
And Alex Karras was blind as a bat without his glasses.
Without his glasses, yeah.
So the coach for the Chicago Bears sent Ted in, and Alex, who's blind as a bat, now starts pummeling his own brother.
Oh dear!
And his brother's going, Ted, it's me, Alex. Yeah, fuck you. Boom, boom, boom. I know Alex. I know Ted, and you're not. Get the hell off me. God, I love that.
Alex Karras did deliver one of the greatest existential lines in cinema history in the character of Mongo. When he said Mongo just pawn in life.
Pawn in Game of Life.
Game of Life.
Exactly. I mean,
great.
How could he have not gotten the Academy Award for that?
Also, Mongo straight.
Yeah.
No, Mongo straight.
We could not make.
Was that Gene Wilder who wrote that, or was it Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor wrote that.
Well, you know what line? You know what line made?
You know who else? Somebody else wrote. The guy with National Lampoon. I can't think of his name now.
Michael O'Donoghue.
No, the other guy. I'll get his name here. P.J. O'Rourke.
P.J. O'Rourke.
Okay. P.J. O'Rourke.
I'm gonna look up the writers of that. We'll find out here.
Discuss
amongst yourselves here.
When Blazing Saddles was first came out, the one of the lines that they left out of the movie was when Lily Von Shtupp.
Andrew Bergman is the guy I was thinking of.
Oh, gotcha.
When Lily Von Shtupp is in the dark, with Cleavon Little, and you hear his zipper come down, and she goes, "Oh my God, I've never felt anything this big," and he goes, "Baby, that's my arm."
Mel Brooks said the zipper sound that they used for that was like an 8-foot long zipper.
Yes.
For the people who do the Foley, the sound work.
Yeah.
When I was in the sixth grade, I read what they used to do for us that couldn't see R-rated films because we weren't old enough yet, because they were very strict. This is when I was in the sixth grade is when they first introduced the rating system. I mean, it was brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Blazing Saddles, I think they had to do editing not to get an X from this board that judged them, and they got an R. So they did these novelizations for the kids that didn't know how to sneak into the theater. And the novelization of Blazing Saddles had a line in it for Mongo that wasn't in the movie, and I just thought it was so funny. When the candygram explodes in his face.
Telegram for Mongo.
Telegram for Mongo. Yeah. So after the smoke clears, and Mongo goes, "What? No card?"
Oh man!
Wasn't in the movie, but whoever wrote the novelization, I should look
the line that made Cleavon Little crack up is when Gene Wilder says to him, and I'm making this up. Part of it, he goes, when the old lady says, "Up yours," novelization, and he goes, "You have to understand, these are basic people, country people, simple people. Morons." and that meant every time they rehearsed it, Cleavon Little cracked up.
Yeah, oh my God. Who one of the best horse stunts since Cat Ballou, when Mongo rides into town on that giant steer or whatever it was, and that one guy goes, "Hey, you can't park that animal there."
And he comes in on that, but then he punches the horse.
Yeah,
he punches the horse out, and it does that trick fall. It's like it's not since Cat Ballou when you had that. Remember, Lee Marvin said that he won
leaning against the when Lee Marvin won his Oscar, he felt the horse.
Yeah, and Yeah, and what wonderful. Hey guys, here's a question for you guys, and this is kind of a
The
deep
question
dive.
is, you look terrible. You should see it from my side.
Which was the best worst band of its era? Either Milton DeLugg and the Band with the Thug from the Gone Show, or Happy Kind and the Melody Makers from Fernwood or America Tonight? How's this for an obscure question?
How about
'Cause, you know,
Jose Mellis from the Jack Parr Show?
God, I love it. Well, you know, Happy Kind was Frank Duvall. And Frank
Yes.
Duvall has
Da
a
da
ton
da da,
of,
and he wrote da 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 da.
Yeah, he wrote-
da, da,
yeah,
da, da.
he was a real musician, but I mean, it was again. I've sort of been jamming on these 70s things because I had all weekend to lay on YouTube and watch extinct television because it's actually better than reality.
Can I throw in the Schmengies and the Lemon Sisters?
Wow.
Ah, there you go.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, the Schmengies.
All right, we're gonna skip the India election because we don't really care anything about that.
Well, Modi.
Modi.
All right.
Ever since Indira Gandhi died.
Oh, you mean the Modi operandi?
Yeah.
The
Hunter Biden trial picked their jury today. Got anything on that?
Yeah,
Andy?
right.
Hunter, get your gun.
There you go. My take on that is I hope he's guilty because I want to show Republicans how Democrats act when your guy is guilty and he gets convicted.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if I may, something which I think is significant, maybe you'll all disagree with me, but I think it's somewhat significant. Tom Cotton, who's as right-wing as you can get,
Yep.
said that he will accept the results of the 2024 election. And then Kevin McCarthy said the same thing. I know it's not all Republicans, but those two guys are very right-wing, and I think that's a big deal. I do.
Hey, another bit of political irrelevance. Manchin has now announced he's not a Democrat anymore. He's an independent.
Which is interesting because he was never a Democrat.
Yeah,
really. He's so full of bullshit and self-regard. It's like, really, dude, you're announcing this. Why? And what next? The sun is hot, grass is green.
Yeah. His main goal is to poison as many West Virginians as he can.
Next week, he and Kirsten Sinema announced their engagement. So,
I think she's hot, and the hell with all of you.
Well, I thought what's her name from Alaska was hot too till I heard her speak. Yeah. So.
Well, I'll tell you who I thought was hot, and I still do, even though I heard her speak. Carrie Lake.
Oh yeah.
Well, she was on TV
she's
before
got that
she ran. All right, yeah.
She's got that ice queen, that ice princess. Look, remember Louise Fletcher from Cuckoo's Nest? I mean, I found her both repulsive and alluring at the same time.
Yeah.
I always liked her because when she won the Oscar, she did sign language for her deaf parents.
Oh, that's good. She did.
And what many people don't know is what she was signing was, "You raised me badly, I'm dumping you."
I hate you all. I hope you die of cancer. have a nice day.
We really don't know what she was signing. So,
well,
you know something about that movie that I forgot? We've all seen it, right? Yeah. That many of the people in that institution could come and go as they please. They weren't in for the long haul.
Right.
Nicholson, McMurphy was.
Right.
And Chief was. But most of them could come in, spend the night, and then leave.
They could leave if they wanted to. Yep.
Yeah.
And the guy who's in the opening or dialogue with McMurphy, when he is the actual director of that institution. They cast him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And it works beautifully. And I don't know if it was because Jack was such a good actor or because the guy just naturally had some chops,
Well, they just told him, I'm sure they just told him, what would you say to someone who was a new admittee? And they gave him a basic outline, and he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Did Michael Douglas direct that, or was he just the producer?
He was the producer.
Who was the director on that? Not
the same guy who directed Amadeus.
Milos Forman.
Milos Forman. Okay, it was him. All right.
Am I right about that?
We're gonna find out.
You're right.
What did he direct? What was the other film?
I know he directed Amadeus.
Yes. Milos Forman.
Because One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of the few movies in my lifetime that took the big four. You know, it's a perfect movie.
Best actor, best actress,
Actress.
best director, best screenplay,
Right.
best movie.
Yes.
And what are the other two?
Is it Silence of the Lambs one of them?
Silence of the Lambs, and one more.
A
I'll give you a
Gidget?
clue.
There's a Gidget movie.
1930. 1935.
Oh God, not
Or 34, I
not
forget.
well, so it's not Gone with the Wind, it's not Wizard of Oz.
It happened
Those are
one
both-
night.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow.
Yeah.
Frank Capra, Clark
Yeah.
Gable, Claudette Colbert, Frank Capra directed and wrote
Yeah.
it, and best movie. Was it
Could-
Milos
could-
Forman?
It was Milos Forman.
Okay.
Okay.
He also
And Clark
directed.
Gable-
He also directed, in addition to Amadeus, he also directed
Hair.
Tim Carrey, the Jim Carrey film where he played Andy Kaufman,
Man in the Moon.
Man in the Moon. Yeah, he directed that
Yeah.
too.
I met
Which I-
F. Murray Abraham when I was waiting tables.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't waiting on him, but I walked by and he was sitting there, and I went, "Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. Wouldn't it have been great if you'd said too late?" But but I said, I think you're a wonderful actor, and you've just given me a lot of happiness in your performances. And he said, "I'm having the shittiest day I can remember. You have no idea how happy I am you said that."
That's wonderful.
Nice.
That's absolutely wonderful. You know,
I said, "So I
because-
shouldn't tell you about your daughter's tumor." Okay, all right. All right.
He was great in Finding Forrester when he plays a villain. I mean, and Finding Forrester is one of the. I think is that Sean Connery's last movie.
No, no. There
it's-
was a Hunt for Red October.
Yeah.
No, that came before that, didn't it?
I don't think so. Oh, by the
Well,
way, F. Murray Abraham also
Forrester.
played one of the
Yep.
cops who wouldn't let Al Pacino open the door when the gun was pointed at him in Serpico.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
God.
He also played the mechanic who kept telling Walter Matthau, "No, it's West 46th. You're on East 46th in Sunshine Boys."
Oh, the
God.
Sunshine Boys. Ah.
Milos
Serpico,
Forman
that's-
also directed the People versus Larry Flint.
Really?
Yep.
That was a good film.
With
Good
one of our,
movie.
with one I think one of the most underrated actors we have, Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
His turn in No Country for Old Men. Again, not a big role, but boy, a memorable one.
His turn in
You know.
three billboards outside Billings.
Oh, my God. Great film.
3 billboards outside, or whatever the hell it was. But he was
You know.
great.
Milos
Yeah.
Forman directed Hair.
Yeah, great. Man. I don't know.
I forgive him.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth on that one. I mean, what would you guys? I asked you guys, what was a better movie, Hair or Jesus Christ Superstar?
I always liked Hair more
Superstar
because the guy who played Jesus Christ was older than Jesus Christ when the movie came out.
Yeah, and he's he's
Ted-
the white
Ted Healy.
European, and Ted Neely. I mean, and but Zero Mostel's kid has a great turn in that playing Herod, Josh Mostel, and
Milos
he plays it really well.
Milos Forman directed Ragtime. James Cagney's
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, great
James
movie.
Cagney, that's good.
Great.
Now, Hair
Remember
is a better one because the music, you know the music more than you know the music to.
Remember at the end of that movie when Cagney says, "Shoot him,
Yeah.
shoot him."
God.
Coalhouse Walker.
Doesn't that one also have who else is in Ragtime?
Elizabeth McGovern,
Yeah.
Zelko Ivanek.
It has that one actor who died so tragically young. Right, sort of at the
Howard Rollins
pinnacle.
Jr.
Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah, he died like
Who
really
played Cole
young
House
after
Walker.
winning
Died of
an
AIDS.
Academy Award. Yes, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Remember when
He also
Max
played
Robinson died of AIDS?
the cop in the movie, in the TV show Heat of the Night,
Yes.
and
Wait,
he
remember
played
when
in A
Max
Soldier's
Robinson-
Story.
Yep. Oh my! A buddy of mine was He was associated with the same theater company that did that when it was in New York.
When it was a soldier's play?
When it was a soldier's play. And then he tried out for him. He didn't get the job with them, and he ended up taking a job doing a Shakespeare thing. But he lived in New York for a couple of years, and that he was hanging around with all those dudes. Again, that's the one that has Caesar Adolf Caesar.
Adolf Caesar.
What an amazing actor.
Who died
when
he was supposed to be playing the hitman in that movie with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster.
Atlantic City?
Where they no, where they played two old gangsters.
Yeah.
And he died, so they gave the part to Eli Wallach.
Oh,
okay. Well, Eli Wallach could play anything, and he was talking about, he had the role as Tuco in was it Fistful of Dollars or High Plains? It was one of the Sergio Leone.
We got
Magnificent Seven.
4 minutes left. I want to get one
He's
more.
in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Good, that's what I'm thinking of. And he said, he didn't speak a word of Italian, but he had a scene with his brother who's a priest who's doing his lines in Italian. And Wallach said, I just simply waited for him to say something, and then I did my lines. And it turns out it works perfectly.
3.5 minutes left. I want to get
3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes. All right. Simone Biles won her 9th U.S. Gymnastics Championship at the age of 27. And not only won the championship, won all 4 events.
Wow. Loser.
Wow.
But she's 27. I mean, most girls, women. Most women are retired 5 years, at 27.
Most wows.
You know what I love about her? She said, she's at that little tiny voice like this. and one of the reporters said, some people say that you should have retired 2 years ago. She said, yeah, I've heard that before. They can go fuck off.
That always sounds good in that voice. Well, we see her in Detroit now because her husband, former boyfriend. Husband plays for the Vikings. So we get
somebody said to me, he's much bigger than her. I said, everybody is much bigger than her.
He's much bigger than her.
He's like 4'9".
Yeah, please.
I'm much bigger than her.
And that's saying something.
Who you telling?
Yeah. What are you watching, Sammy?
I'm not watching anything. It's called The Neighborhood with Max Greenfield and Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah. I'm not watching. I'm just kind of looking up because his name is Greenfield.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
And Max is my grandfather's name, but it wasn't Max Greenfield. It was Max Avery. Every. Do you know what Every is Hebrew for?
What?
Hebrew.
Oh, really?
Which makes me think they couldn't pronounce his real last name, so they gave him the name Max the Jew when he came over.
God. Was it you, Sam, or someone else was talking about the Jewish funeral where the guy comes back and says, wasn't a wet eye in the house? Talking about some guy who was particularly unpleasant. The other one where the rabbi says, I am a stranger. Will someone not speak for this man who we're burying today? And there's an awkward silence, and someone says, well, his brother was worse.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
I love giving Sam Jewish jokes.
Oh.
I'll tell you one when we're done because we're running out of time.
All right. Well,
go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I just wanted to say this is what we do every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be 5 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. If you'd like to join us, please get in touch with us. Look at us. We're just a bunch of old comics, right? And we take younger people. We like when you come along. We don't all have to be men. We don't all have to be white men. Let's diversify this thing a little bit. Get in touch with me.
It's the way we like it.
Don't help me, Sam. Don't help
me.
I'm
anyway,
German.
We'll be back
I'll start
again.
Goose stepping. I mean, come on.
Exactly. We'll be back. We'll be back again next Monday night. We start off. Andy and I open the show. My wife Susan gives us a poem.
Beautiful poem. Great poem.
And we except for the Indian president, we got through all the topics this week, so that was kind of nice. And we do it every week on Monday night. So join us if you can. Stick around, fellas. After the show, we'll talk. But for now, let's take it out. Here's where we need that. Here's where we need to have credits playing. Oh yeah.